Everyone, this is Dmitry and we are having another network programmability stream. Today it's 24th stream of this series. Actually, to be honest, I was looking through my videos on YouTube and it seems that I actually missed one. So there is a video but it was not labeled with any number. So I guess it's actually 25th, but until I fix it on my YouTube channel, let's keep this weird numbering. So very excited as always to spend some time with you guys and to work on some network programmability stuff. Last time we were having a first look at PyTS, which is Python network test framework, which offers much more than just tests. We were looking on just a couple of things, mainly how to connect to the devices using PyTS and how to get structured data from the devices in a platform agnostic way. So you get the data in the same format from, let's say, Nexus switch or iOS switch. This is what we were exploring last time. We were actually stumbled upon a couple of issues. I think I opened one bug on GitHub, and I just couldn't figure out also a couple of other things. And well, first of all, the bugs that I reported got fixed on the next day, which is good. You know, you feel like you don't submit bug to the void, and so people communicate back to you and set expectations when it's going to be fixed, and apparently it got fixed basically on the next day, which is cool. And also I was writing to the developer team with the questions that I had after the stream, like how do I connect to the device using netconf, how can I use alias, how can I transfer files locally, and so on and so forth. And they have been very helpful. PyTS team was extremely helpful. Fortunately I didn't have a chance to test what they told me yet, and to read the docs that they sent me for the specific questions that I had. But I do hope that either I will do it later or maybe even on the stream. So we'll see. Okay, so today we are going to continue writing code for Nornir. So there are a couple of things that I have in my mind, and I will actually mention this to you now, so that you can either like vote for the feature or for the things that I'm going to do on the stream while I will be discussing the news. Or I will just choose on my own. So there are a couple of things that are outstanding and I would like to work on, and obviously I can select only usually one thing. So one of the things is this issue that I opened support for several connections using the same connection plugin. So the idea here is that there are plugins like NetMiko plugin, for example, and it allows you to connect via SSH and via telnet, okay, via the, let's say, terminal server. Okay, so currently you can't establish the connection using the same plugin at the same time. You can't establish two different connections using the same plugin at the same time, so you can either select one and another by specifying parameters in your inventory. For the things that I'm doing, I actually need that because I do not always have SSH access or netconf access, and I may need to fall back to actually console connection to restore the device in the manageable state. So this kind of thing is quite important to my project, so this is why it's on my list. So this is one thing that we can work on. I think it's doable within a stream. It's not super complex, but we may hit some issues, some roadblocks doing that. Another feature that I think could be huge for Nornir, which is async IO support. So I already had at least one stream talking about async IO. Basically, the idea that instead of spawning the threads, you submit the tasks, and while you're waiting for response from device come back, you can actually go ahead and do some other tasks. So I actually have an idea in mind how I can implement it, but I have never tested if it will be an easy task to do with a Nornir. It may actually appear that I can waste 3 hours and not get anywhere. So while I think it would be cool to have it, there is this kind of danger that you can spend a lot of time and then it will not work. So this is another thing. The third thing, it would be something completely different, and I have never done that before. And this would be reviewing a pull request done by someone else live. So since I'm trying to also be helpful to and contribute to the project, I also try to review pull requests as well and provide my feedback. So there is one important one, which is inventory rework by David, which I haven't reviewed yet, and I think it would be a good idea to review. So reviewing in general, sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's boring, but it depends. So I do have, guys, these 3 options. Let me know what you think is the best. Vote in the chat for one of those. So let me try to repeat. So one of them is feature request to be able to connect by the same connection plugin with two or 3 or more different connections. Another one is async IO support. Very exciting, but also kind of like, you may not get anywhere. And third issue is reviewing a pull request live. So yeah, these 3 options that I have for you today. So yeah, while you're letting me know what you would like to hear to watch today, or well, if you don't, I will select on my own, obviously. Let's jump into the news/announcements topic as usual. So first of all, I started a new semester at Georgia Tech online master degree program. So this is my 3rd subject out of 10, so I still have a long way to go, and it's artificial intelligence class. Actually, the homework is due tomorrow, so after the stream I will probably be without sleep for the next whatever hours until I get it done, hopefully. The idea is that you develop an AI to play a simple game. So I'm actually personally, I'm not extremely good at algorithms, so I can implement like easy algorithms that I can kind of like break down in my head, but something more complex, I am not very good at it. So all of these textbooks algorithms, I'm not extremely good at it. Well, I would say that I'm actually bad at it. Maybe it's because I do not know it very well, so like you don't know it very well and then just say that you're not good at it. I don't know, but I wouldn't say that algorithm part is something that I enjoy a lot, but but having this background is actually, I think, is kind of important, considering that I am now more of the software developer guy and more of network programmability engineer rather than network engineer. So I do think that having some good fundamental knowledge about computer science is actually important. So yeah, hopefully, wish me luck. Hopefully I will get my assignment done in time and and yeah, and get to live another day. It's actually very interesting that if you guys are thinking about getting some good fundamental knowledge about computer science, I definitely recommend this program, Online Master of Computer Science at Georgia Tech. It's not expensive as well. The only thing is that you have to be really careful if you have enough time. So one subject per semester usually equates to 15 hours per week. It can be challenging. So right now I barely have this time. So sometimes I question my decision about doing that, but sometimes it's also exciting when you see the results of your progress. Okay, so this was Georgia Tech. Another one is that actually one of Cisco customers was visiting Cisco Krakow office, and they also appear to be viewers of my stream, and they offered me to join for lunch, and this is something that did happen before, and so this was very unexpected, but we did have very, I think, productive conversation about network automation state in general and where this is going, and different new things that are being developed right now. If you ever guys are in the same town as I am, and make sure you ping me, and we can meet and also discuss your network automation challenges and problems. I would be delighted to talk to you and see if I can be of any help. So another thing is the Cisco SD-WAN Python library. So last week I was doing a small announcement that I have been working on the Python library for one of the Cisco products. So this time I can review what I have been doing. So this is a library for viptela for Cisco SD-WAN. I have been working on that for almost 2 weeks now. It's going well. I implemented already a lot of stuff, so you can create, update, delete objects from vmanage, as well as you can also export them to the archive or something, and then import them back. So and there are some other helpful functions like via API you can get object by ID, but I also implemented a way which changes a couple of API calls, and then you can get objects by name, and everything that you get is actually a Python object, so you don't get just raw JSON or anything like that. You get an actual Python object. So because of that, it takes actually a lot of time to make sure that the user experience is good. I do not know when it's going to be released. Maybe, I hope, beta version, maybe 1 month or so. And obviously it's not going to cover every single API call, because there are almost, I think, 150 different objects that are present in vmanage. So that's a lot. So I don't think this wrapper will allow you to have everything as Python object, every single thing that is available via API, but a lot of important stuff is going to be there. And you can also, there will be a way, you can, using this library, you can actually do a raw API call if you want to, if something is not supported. So I'm really looking forward to release that once I feel it's in any shape to be released to public. But yeah, a lot of progress there. Another one is that I am going to RTP in next week to Raleigh. So what this means is that there will be no stream next week, and afterwards, after I come from US, I will go to vacation, and I'm not yet sure if there will be a stream in 2 weeks from now. So definitely no stream next week, and stay tuned for announcement for the stream in 2 weeks if there will be one. And the last piece is this article that I read yesterday. It's called Automatic Network Operations Part 1 Ansible Basics. It's quite short. It's not like Ansible introduction, but I do think they touch upon the author touches upon the issues that I have with Ansible too. So basically, this kind of blog article is about how Ansible can't really manage network configuration state. So for example, you have some NTP servers and you try to configure the new NTP servers, you'll end up with config merge, not with config replace. And well, as I have been telling for, I don't know, 25 streams, that network configuration state is a complex problem and Ansible doesn't solve it for you. What I did, I kind of like wrote a very small comment on that, and it just blew up after like I woke up today and I saw like 15 different responses from people. This is usually not what happens on my Twitter account, but yeah, and there were a lot of great thoughts, and so if you don't follow me on Twitter, you should. There is this, I think, interesting discussion and opinions of different people, how they see this problem, and yeah, I hope this will be useful. So yeah, and let me actually find it if you're interested. So my Twitter, we are 2 followers away from 1K. Nice. It's not like this number means anything, but it's still kind of a little bit satisfying, right? So this is the comment. Good article. I have similar thoughts, and then it's just there is a number of thoughts of other people. So check that out. I also had, I think, some interesting thoughts from my perspective on the software development for the network engineers. So I also kind of wrote a mini thread from 3 posts saying what I think about that. So in very short, I think there will be a separate job called Network Automation Engineer, or whatever the name is going to be. And this will be the person who will be actually writing code to do network automation plus some kind of web backend, most likely. And this person is going to be different than a network engineer or just software developer focusing on software development, because it does require some domain specific knowledge about how you can actually interact with network devices, what are the common problems that are there. So I do not think it's the same job as like network reliability engineer, but yeah, I feel like this is what is going to happen. So yeah, this is it from the news perspective. I don't see any comments about what I should do this stream among the options that I gave to you guys, so I guess I will just select something on my own. Let me think if I have something else. No, I think we are good. We may need to wrap up a little bit earlier today than 3 hours, but we'll see, since I still have my assignment to do in my online studies, which is due tomorrow. So this would be good idea to get some minutes back and work on it. Okay, so no comments in the chat. Let's. So the issue then that I am going to select is this one, mainly because it's important for my use cases, which is support for several connections using the same connection plugin. So let's go ahead and do that. Well, let's actually start working on this. So, okay, here is my pie chart. Let me close irrelevant stuff. Talks Nornir log, blah blah blah. None of this is irrelevant. I have to check something. I have to get access to a couple of devices here. I forgot to do that before. Okay. So I have my CSR dev, which is running 16.8.1, and I think CSR 3 is running 16.8.1. Yeah. So I will be using these two CSRs. There is also Linux box, which I don't think we are going to need, but let's keep it. So let's go ahead and start working on this. And okay, so the first thing that we are going to do is obviously make sure that we are in the right folder, and let's see what branches do we have. Okay, so let's create a new branch, git checkout -b. And I did have some dropped frames right now, so let me see if we are still online. I keep getting the drops. This is very unfortunate. Okay, it seems it's better, so let me do this. Let me oh wow. Okay, this is definitely not great news. Yes, this doesn't look well. Doesn't look good. Okay, we'll try to continue. See, there are some problems and stream goes on and off. Okay, this is definitely not good. Okay, I see my ping stabilized here. Hopefully. Okay. Sorry guys for this. Yeah, well, at least I have been doing streams for 1 year and I don't think I had network problems for this 1 year, so this is at least some good news. Yeah, it seems it's good now. Perfect. So let me switch the screen back and let's continue. Okay. Okay, good. Good. Sorry for that, folks. Okay, so we have to go ahead and create a new branch, git checkout -b, and let's say, how should we name it? Let's just name it several connections. Okay. So there we have it. Also, I need to pull up docs. Let me think. Yes, I will need to pull up docs. Nornir, read the docs as well. Since we are doing some inventory changes, I want to make sure that it's actually correct. So I have to switch to version 2.0. Notes, reference guides. I don't remember anything here. It's so funny, like you can work on the project very hard for some time, but then you have to do something else. You haven't touched this project for 2 weeks and I can barely remember anything. I remember we had so many discussions on the like proper format and all of that stuff. Now I don't remember anything. I think the proper one is how to handle connections to devices, I guess. Yeah, this one. So we need something like this: my host, username, blah blah blah. So here's the idea was that you add a plugin somewhere here, and you can say like plugin Nornir or plugin Netmico or plugin Napalm, whatever that is. Okay. So I'm looking where to start. I think the proper place to start is also actually go back to the issue and try to remember what we agreed upon. So the idea was to have like something like this, connection, maybe like connection type, we'll see, reward connections. I think we definitely were discussing the keyword plugin or something like this. Okay, so what do we need? We need like a test script where we are going to play with our library. We need to activate obviously virtual environment. What? Source. Okay. Deep freeze. Okay, -e. Okay. So we are in a virtual environment. I think it should be Python 3.6. Perfect. Okay, so now we need to have a inventory that will be our test polygon. So, see, I told you I don't remember anything. I will create a new folder here. Let's say several connections. Ideally, you should write like our tests first, like in proper test suite, but right now I think it's could be a little bit early. So, okay, so we will need hosts and groups YAML. Actually, you don't need groups YAML, you just need hosts. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy it here. We have the hosts, we need 2 devices. So I have CSR dev and CSR3, and the IP address for the CSR3 should be 26, I think. Yeah, it's 26. So it should be 26. Platform, we should actually change this to Cisco iOS for NetMiko, and here to Cisco iOS. Okay, so this is a very basic idea. So, well, very basic inventory. So you have username, password, host name, and platform. So then we also need our script. So I guess the script, I can copy this script. Let's have main py. Let's copy it. Logging. Well, we don't need logging right now. Or, yeah, I think we should. No, actually no, because it's without the my merge it will not work properly. So we will not need logging here. We'll need Nornir core init init. We can delete this part. We don't need this part anymore, and we don't need this part. So, okay. So pretty straightforward here. And we also need config YAML. Config YAML now workers, trace on error, inventory, simple inventory, logging to console, and we'll have here hosts YAML. And I think it should do it. So the way we test it, we will say print let's also import from pprint, import pprint, and we'll pprint csr def data, and we also need to add some of this data here. So let's just have AS num 50 or 100. Let's have 100, and here we'll have AS number 200. So this is just arbitrary, the arbitrary variable here. Okay, so this should be it. We should be able to go to sandbox several connection tests, and we could say Python main py. Groups YAML doesn't exist. I think we can create like an empty one as well. So groups YAML, and we don't need anything. Let's run this again. Well, this didn't work out so well, did it? Okay, now it works. Default. Okay, and why this didn't work though? See, I told you I don't remember anything. Let's try this. I'm actually going to do someone else. I'm going to create a Scratch file. Actually no. So it should be this one, for example, Scratch 1, and I will get rid of all these things, and I can actually right now I don't need close the connection, so I will have it like this. Okay. What this will allow us to do is to interact with this on the command line. So I should be able to say IPython and the same thing. So csrdef is my object, and so it should be csrdef. I think I should be able to access my ISNum like this. Nornir object is not subscriptable. Get. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. This is not correct. So I have to, if I want to do something like this, I have to filter based on inventory. Well, and even then this is not correct. So actually, yeah, so I have to say in our inventory hosts, and then I have to say csrdef. So then I should be able to access what I need. So I can now say csrdef data, and I can say csrdef, let's say isnum, or I can say get. Perfect. Okay. Good. So the first thing that we have to do is to make sure that we can still use our Netmiko plugin easily. So it should be in plugins. No, not connections. It should be tasks, and it should be networking. Yeah, it should be here. So we have to import some things. So from Nornir plugins, tasks, networking, we have to import. We just need a simple command. So let's say send command is good enough for us. Now we just need to go ahead and let's say run this command on all of our devices. So I will comment this part out. So then this will be in our run. Function will be Netmiko send command. And I forgot what goes next. I'm sorry. So I will have to check the docs and see an example. Writing, I think it should be in tutorial. 100% Python. No, not this one. No workers. No. Not here. Okay, tasks. Okay, task and then command. Okay, so we have to do this. So I have to say task is equal to Netmiko send command, and then you pass any parameters your plugin accepts. So in this case we have to go to netmiko send command, and it accepts task command string str right. So then I can say, I lost my file. No. Okay, so here I should say nr, well, result will be nr run task is equal to from Nornir plugins tasks networking import netmiko send command. Okay, and now we run this thing and we say command string, we'll just say what, show vref, show vref, or you can say, no, show interfaces is too big. Let's do show IP interface brief. Show IP interface brief. Okay, and then we also need function to print results in a beautiful way. So I think it should be in functions, text, print result. So from Nornir plugins and it seems my networking issue is gone too, so that's some good news. So Nornir plugins functions text import print result, and well, we just need to print result result. I think this is pretty much it here. So let's go ahead and test this. I may need to have another I want to have two prompts. I want to have interactive prompt and simple prompt. What is going on here? Okay. Okay, so now I should be able to say Python main py. Okay. Hopefully. It seems my music is gone too. Okay, so it's taking some time. I think I may need to increase, yeah, I will increase number of workers too. So where is this? Config, let's say number of workers 10. So we are using threading. Okay, so I can do show commands into devices super easy. Now this is the part where it can get tricky. Well, first of all, we have to make sure that I can do the same thing. I can do the same thing using the connection options. Let me think this through. I have to make sure that I can do the same task using the console. This is what I need to do right now. So first of all, I have to check that I can access the console. So if I remember correctly, for CSRDev is 3013. Yes, and for the CSR3 it's 3003. Yes, perfect. So I can access them via console manually. Now I have to check that I can do exact same task using NetMiko terminal console. So I will have to do two things. So I will have to go to NetMiko console on Google and NetMiko GitHub. I think Kirk had some tutorial here, or there was some issue or whatever. Could possibly try using terminal server device type and then writing all the glue code to get fully logged in. Okay. I have to find it. Okay, standard tutorial, SCP, SSH proxy, common issues. Let's see this too. I think I saw the console somewhere, but I don't remember where. Yeah, when docs are like this, it's actually quite hard to navigate. So there are like no tutorials, just like this is basically from docstring. It's better to have this than don't, but unfortunately I don't see a lot of docs. Okay, so then there is telnet login. Okay, this may be helpful. Pre alt username pattern. But I bet there was something else. Show commands, logging. Does NetMiko support connecting via terminal server? I think this is it. This may be tricky. Actually, I am now thinking that what I should do instead is first forget about Nornir for a second and do this specifically, well, separate. So yeah, I think this would be a good way to go. So we'll have another script. Let's call whatever NetMiko console. I will pretty much copy all of this. Import time. Cannot handle terminal server ESXi username Cisco, password is Cisco, there is no secret password. And then I should be able to, let's say, to show IP is brief time sleep, and then I should be able to print the whole thing. And let's try. Okay, so terminal server ESXi. Oh, I haven't specified port. So port will be 3013. Redispatch. Yes. Okay. Well, let's hope for the best. If not, I will need to, well, whatever. So Python netmiko console. Okay, something is happening. Well, it's trying to connect via the SSH. So yeah, using paramik. Okay, so this will not work because it's a telnet. Okay, so then we have to look for netmiko telnet terminal. Serial login, and it's Cisco based connection. No, serial is something else. So serial is actually, I see here it's connecting to your actual serial port, which is pretty cool too, but this is not what we need. Feature request at oops, open this in the wrong repo. Okay, this is not helpful. Let me go release. Implement telnet driver and potentially serial driver by abstracting the underlying protocol from the higher level methods. Adding new methods. Okay, telnet support. Oh, okay. Cisco IS Telnet. Okay, let's go ahead and try this. So Cisco IS Telnet, IP, username, password, port, and I think it actually does the same thing as you would be doing before. So you would use send command, and then you can say show IP interface brief. Let's go ahead and try this. No. Yes. Woohoo! It worked. Perfect. So, wow, this is actually awesome. Well, almost. I have to make sure that we are actually doing the right thing. So I will need to import logging, and let's say logging basic config, and I have to get a sample of my logging basic logging config. Let's have login dict. I want to make sure that we are using the right plugin. So no, I think we are good. I specified the IP, which refers to ESXi. I don't have any SSH IP here, so yeah, we're good. Okay, so the only thing that we need in order to be able to connect is to change this Cisco IS to Cisco IS Telnet. So let's go ahead and do that. And again, I don't. Some music is extremely has low volume. It's not loud at all. I can't hear it. Okay, so this is only part. So we have to make sure that we can do the same thing using Nornir. It should be super straightforward. I hope so. Please. I really hope. So let's try. So hostname will be ESXi. Port will be 313, and here the hostname. Hostname will be ESXi and port will be 3003. The same thing. Now I should be able to run my script here, and it should still work. Should still work. I know how this ends. Actually, it will not work because I forgot to change this to Telnet. Yeah. So fail. Let's go ahead and try this again. Nice. Okay, so we just got the same info using Telnet. Okay, so cool. That's good. So now the whole reason why the issue was raised was because you may want to be able to connect via SSH and via Telnet at the same time, without, or let me actually put it this way: you may either need to connect. You may either need to have two connections at the same time, or you may need one and another but in the same program, so you can't easily handle this with the inventory that we have right now. So you can specify just one thing here, if that makes any sense. So I will put this back, I will comment this part out. I will comment this part out as well, so it will be platform Cisco IIS. And I uncomment this one. Okay. So now we are back to using SSH. Now we have to figure out a way to do what we want. So before we are going to go deep, I want to make sure that it will work correctly. No, it's not here. I think it should be inventory. Open connection. Okay, so open to new connections, and then you use the connection options. Let me double check this with the guides that we have. This part? No. This part. I don't think this is the case. I don't think this particular piece is still true. I may be wrong, but Jason, thank you for following. Really appreciate it. It's hard when you don't remember anything about the code. Get connection parameters and get connection. Okay. So I think whenever we invoke task, we will do get connection and we pass this connection str. If an existing connection is already established, you return it. If none exists, you establish a connection of the type is default parameters and return it. So we pass a connection, we are checking this connection is up or not, and then we say open connection, and then self get connection parameters connection. So then here we go to this get connection parameters function, which is here, where we are saying if there is no connection, well, if you don't pass anything, then this is what you get. Alternatively, oh, okay, I see now. So alternatively, you hit this one, which says self get connection options. Okay, and then you can have here anything you want. So actually the structure is correct that I see here. So if you need connection called napalm, you'll get this piece, and then you will go ahead and you can change standard parameters here, you can change advanced parameters here. Super straightforward. Okay, so this is actually correct. The way we can check this is by doing the following. We will go back to our main py. No, it should be hosts. So we will do very similar thing, where we will leave top level as like general things, and now we say netmika options, where we will say, well, host name is now different, it's ESXi, and I will also mess with this a little bit. So I have this usernames that doesn't exist, so if you try to connect via SSH, this will fail. So we will redefine part of this and say that, well, let's define here username Cisco, password is Cisco, and platform will be Cisco iOS Telnet. What you can alternatively, well, you can also do, you can now have connection options, where you define any other parameters that are accepted by the plugin, but in this case we don't need this. So if I do this, I should be able to connect to this device via Telnet and this device via SSH. So let's go ahead and test this. Okay, this worked exactly the same way, and we didn't connect via SSH here, we connected via this here. We wouldn't be able to connect via SSH because this username doesn't make any sense, this is incorrect. So, okay, this part works. Now, what I really want to have is the following. I want to have netmiko telnet options, if I want to, for example, and then I would move this piece there. Okay, so for the sake of this thing, we will leave this username, password. Yeah, so I want to have something like this, where I can have additional netmiko options if I want to. This could be like delay factor or whatever options are accepted by netmiko, but I may also need to open a new connection here, and then I can say, well, I should be able to specify anywhere that, okay, I'm going to use this connection or that connection. Okay. Okay, so this is what we have to figure out how to do. I think I will go back to the issue that I opened and see. No, this one. So the idea was that in the open connection you have different parameters. Yeah, you can call open connection. So if you want to do this manually, or when you say task run, you can specify connection name. Yes. So I would like to specify here connection name. Okay, so the way this should be done, first of all, there should be this new parameter called connection name in the task run. So let's go ahead and find it. I think it should be here, task run, and then there is task, and then there is stuff. So I think this is the first place where we will need this. So I would say connection name will be optional str by default, which is equal to none. Okay. Actually no. We will leave it as part of keyword arguments. These keyword arguments are passed here to the task. That's the thing, I don't remember. Okay, I will copy this part to our scratch py. So this is what is invoked by default. So because of this, you can get this plugin using get plugin. This is important. This is actually the part that we did on the stream. And then you call this get plugin function. So let me try to find where we are using that. So self connection get plugin. Self connections get plugin. Okay, it's right here. So when we are doing open connection, we can say here self connection will be we are getting the plugin. In reality, what we would like to end up is we would like to end up with that connection called netmiko telnet will be pointing to the class netmiko. This is what we want. So this connection parameter so we'll have connection and connection name. I may regret this. So open a connection. And I will just say name str and plugin. Now this connection should be refactored. So this will be plugin. Okay. So if plugin itself connections, connection already open plugin. Okay, we have to also redo this part. See if there are some comments in chat. I didn't pay attention at all. No, you guys are very quiet today. Okay, so I have name and I have plugin. Both of them are str. So the name is obligatory parameter, I think, and this would be optional str, and by default it's none. So then we say if plugin is none, plugin is equal to our name. That's what we are going to have. Then when we are doing self connections, and we say so if plugin is none, and okay, so this one is not correct. So now here we are using name. So self connections name is going to be self connections get plugin. Fine. Self get connection parameters. Okay, so this will be name, and this will be name too. So self connections name, self connections get plugin, and then get connections parameter name, self connection name. We are opening connection. Okay, we have to pay attention to this piece. This may be important. Connections options. Okay, let's go to this function. So this function accepts what? It accepts connection. I would rename this piece and I would say this refers to the connection name. So this is, you can easily recognize this. Okay, so this refers to connection name. We say, well, if not connection name, this is what you're going to get. Alternatively, your connection parameters are going to be connection name option. Okay, this part is seems to be straightforward too. And then we are doing all of that stuff. Now, what about this function? This function says self get connection function that is default. If an existing connection is already established, if none exists, well, we only need, I will also rename this parameter. This is name. And I say get connection, and we are going to deal with a name. So then we say get. No, this is not so easy. Oops. I am not sure. So it seems like this get connection function should accept two parameters. However, the plugin should come from inventory. So if I go back to my hosts, I would like to have netmico telnet options. Here I also have to say that the plugin that I'm using is going to be netmico. So ideally, I should be able to parse these options, since I need to parse these options and I have to get the plugin name. And let me also see an issue again. A more generic solution instead of hard-coding connection type is to do something like this. This is how it would work approximately from user perspective. Okay, so this open connection function can accept name and plugin, or it could be supplied externally. Okay, let me walk through this again. So this open connection function can accept name and plugin. Plugin can be empty, so then we will fall back to using the stuff. Then we will fall back to using stuff. With this approach, it should be able to work. We are going here, and then we are opening connection here. And then we are going to get connection parameters. No, actually this piece is quite straightforward. Get connection parameters, if not connection name. The only piece that we have to do would be, actually we don't even need to do that, since here we are forming the new dictionary, then it should be fine. No, actually we need, so here we will need to say, and I have to check something really quick in Python. So let's say I have a dictionary, have something like this, and then I say pop2, and I think I can post none. Yeah, I can do none. So I can do here plugin no, this is also a bad idea. because then the plugin, so we either can pass it here, name and plugin manually, but usually you'll pass just a name, and then I would need to figure out the plugin name from the parameters. Okay, so I think some magic should happen here in get connection. So I put name of connection, and it does some things, blah blah blah, it does some things. If name is not in connections, yeah, I think this is what we need. So we will say plugin will be equal to self details will be self data get okay, or empty dictionary plugin, and then I say plugin will be pop and it will be plugin in none, and then I pass this plugin here and everyone is happy, allegedly. And we also will get rid of this plugin from the this may be destructive though. This is another piece. Well, if you try to do get connection again, then this will fail. No, this is not a viable option. So I need to use get function here. Okay, then here get connections, blah blah blah, connection options, self get connection parameters. Yeah, I think this will work actually. We will not see this plugin anymore because it should be on the default level. Okay, I actually think this is it. I also need to check one additional thing, which will be get connection. So I want to see where this function is being called. I think it should be called in plugins. So nope. Here, yes. This is another piece. So this is no longer true because in your task you want to specify your connection name. So it will not always be napalm. It may be something else. In order to do that, task. It seemed to me that I was very close. Now I think that now I'm not sure about user API anymore. So since it's static here, we are saying napalm. This is what we have to default to. But we should be able to pass this connection name transparently when we are doing task run. So when I'm doing here task run in task, yeah, I think so. So task name of the task, connection name. So this will be optional star none. Okay, so then I say self connection name will be none. No, it will be connection name. So this is when you run the task. You can pass this. Let's try to walk through this again. So let's try to put an example what we want to be able to do. So here I would like to say, let's say CSR def will be nr run nr filter f and the name will be CSR def. Okay, now then I want to say result is equal to CSR def run task is equal to netmiko send command. But here I would say connection name is equal to netmiko. No, connection, well actually yes, netmiko underscore telnet. netmic underscore telnet, and then command string is going to be show IP interface brief. Okay, and then I'm going to print result. So this is what we want to do. When we are going to do this, we need to go to function definition, somewhere. This should be part of Nornir class. So Nornir, and then you do run. And then we are going to do run serial or run parallel, where we are going to pass keyword arguments for task creation, which is here. So then here we can say connection name will be this. So the value of the task will be an actually connection name, which we save. We basically get rid of it from keyword arguments. Blah 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 blah. And then we will run start function, and then we will call it this thing. Whatever, I don't care what happens here really. So as part of the task object, we will have thinking how should I pass it in proper way, but I don't see a good way actually. No, actually it's fine. So we also have self-host and scenario. So then we'll have here self-connection name. Then we can go to our, let's say, what, napalm module, tasks, networking. No, let's do netmic as a command. So then task get connection. Will be task. I'm not sure I like this design a lot. I believe what I have here right now may work, but I have no idea. Okay, so let's go ahead and test it. So what do we need? I think I actually want to mess up his username here to make sure that I actually can't connect. So here will be username Siska, password Siska. Technical talent options. Okay, so this is what I need. Netmico telnet. And here this will be netmico telnet. Okay, let's try running this. I'm pretty sure this will not work, but oh, something is happening. this will be not easy thing to Nornir execution error. My Twitter is continuing exploding. But I will deal with this later. I really want this to be able to work. I know, I think I can just try with like printing statements or whatever. So first it goes here. Well, I think I can actually go to netmika send command here, and let's do print task connection name. Okay, so we are having here netmika underscore telnet. So then we go to this function. And this should be in tasks, so this should be in the inventory. It will be funny if my Twitter is continuing exploding. It will be funny if there was an actually problem with like credentials or something like this. This will be super fun. Okay, so we are going here to self get connection. Here, self get connection. We are having name, and we are saying if there is no name, then we will get a plugin. So let's try to put in the plugin. So this plugin here should say found plugin is plugin. So this should say netmika, I think. Found plugin netmika. Okay, so this piece is fine. So then we go ahead and do self connection. We are opening a connection. Actually, I can say here print self connection. Oh, there is a question in the chat. Hey, what feature are you working on? So the idea here for the feature that I am doing is to be able to use the same connection plugin with two different names. So for example, using netmika, you can connect to devices using SSH, or you can connect to devices using telnet through like console port or something. So sometimes, and you can't use both at the same time. So in the inventory you must have one, and that part works. But sometimes I need to be able to manage device via SSH and console in the same inventory, because I don't know for sure. I do not know for sure if my SSH is available. So yeah, this is the idea, and so far it doesn't work, which is fine. So we are saying that excuse me. So we will go here to open connection, and we'll be here where we have name and plugin. We say if plugin is none, we'll use a simple name, and then blah 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 whatever. So here I would like to print the connection name will be name, and then plugin will be plugin. So hopefully I should be able to see here. Okay, connection name is netmiko telnet, the plugin is netmiko. Okay, fine. So then I go here to this function, and I should find this mapping to the plugin. And let's also do this. Found plugin class is this will be this, and then it will be call name. Okay. Oops. Oops. No. What am I doing here? So found plugin class. Okay, fine. So we are using correct plugin class. Now it seems that, well, somewhere it's failing, so I have to figure out why. I'm actually, I feel like it's actually I may have an idea. One of the problems here, and we kind of discussed this with David already, is whenever you have any exception, it's wrapped into this Nornir execution error. So when it fails, even if I have here config YAML, what is this? Even because I have raise on error, which basically says whenever there is an error, stop execution of the program. Even in this case, I'm getting the traceback for Nornir execution error, which doesn't really help me a lot because it's just generic exception that's being raised. So my idea here is to go to I think somewhere here. So we start the task here, and then accept Nornir subtask error, and then there is a traceback. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to erase E, or just erase here. So if I do this again, when we fail, we should expect the original exception to be printed to the console. Okay, so I see the problem now. Perfect. So it's line 365 in the inventory. So it's here. Yeah, makes sense. So here I have name and here I have plugin. Perfect. So I should always refer to name everywhere. Let's go ahead and run this again. So connection name is netmiko telnet, and plugin is netmiko. So perfect. So now we executed this using the using the console. Nice, perfect. So this is awesome. I'm not sure everyone will agree with my decisions here. One of the things that I do not like in current implementation, and I don't have a good idea how to change it and if I should change it, is in the plugin. So in all these plugins, there is this task host get connection, and you specify, well, you have to pass this task connection. Yeah, I think so. The alternative to this, maybe it's actually worth it. No, connection name belongs to the task. It doesn't belong to the host. Okay, so let's say you establish connection via different plugins like netconf, like NetClient, like Napalm, whatever. You may have all of these connections at the same time. So I can't just go ahead and assign this to the to host. It doesn't make sense. It should be part of the task, which is fine. So there are two things. So either I can say here connection name to pass it explicitly, but then creator of these plugins have to take care of that. Or I save it as part of the task, which I think makes a little bit more sense, but then you have to reference it like this. I think I will leave it for now. Between these two, I feel this is more appropriate. There is a question in the chat. Did you end up creating a netcon connection plugin? Yes, I did. It works, but I have never submitted pull request because I haven't figured out yet how to write tests for it. So that part is not done. Okay, so well, this seemed to work. I'm thinking if there is an easy way to check it, and I don't think there is an easy way. Maybe in the logs, if I enable the netmiko logger, maybe, but I am not convinced. So let me try doing that. So I have to get my main, and here I have to say import logging and import logging config. Then I have to say login dict will be this. This is just one of examples that I have, and here I will say, well, I will put Nornir logger and I will say netmiko. Okay. Let's see. Let's run this again. I'm not sure if netmiko will show us any logs. Did I set up? Of course, and I am an idiot because I didn't put the debug logger everywhere, which I should. Debug. Okay, let's go ahead and run this again. And there should be a file called, oh, this will not work without my plugin. Yeah, about that. Oh, hold on. Nice. Look at this. So debug logging in netmiko is sending everything, well, it's showing everything, it's what is being sent, and this /r /n and read channel, write channel, this is definitely console. So disable paging, terminal length 0, exiting, disable paging, terminal widths, show IP interface brief. Okay, boom, and we have established the connection. Maybe I will also do the following. So let me try one additional piece. So if I do telnet leap and I will run this again, maybe I will also see some telnet leap logs if they have anything on the debugging level, but it doesn't seem the case. Okay, whatever. Let me also just try to make sure that I didn't screw it up. So okay, so these usernames are incorrect. So we would not be able to connect via the SSH anyway. Actually, just for the sake of this example, I will put like a random IP address, which is not this device at all, right? So if everything is correct, then we still should be able to run this, which we do. You see, we are connecting to CSRDev here, and everything is fine. Yeah. So this looks good to me. We are not obviously ready to open PR. This is 100%. But I think the first thing we have to do is to run our PyTest routine. We may need to get rid of a couple of print statements here and there. Let's see, there was print. No, I think there was print here. Raise print. No. And maybe here. No print statement. Okay. Well, yes, so let's go ahead and run PyTest here. What? Why? Oh, okay. I'm in the incorrect folder. So PyTest Nornir. No test. What? It's not working. PyTest. Okay, now it seems to work. So I definitely expect that things will break. At least a couple of tests. And we will need to add some additional tests for us as well. That said, I actually don't see a great way to do that right now. Let me also check if there are any comments. Sorry. Oh no, I actually addressed that part. Okay, so we have, well, all of the tests passed, so I didn't break anything. This is actually some good news. Now, there is also one additional manual test that I would like to run inside the same script. Okay, so let's go back. No, not here. Well, actually here. So let's do the following. So I will have CSR3 filtered. And then I will say, actually no, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to open a connection to CSRDev via SSH. Okay, so, well, I'm going to run a result again. CSRDev, let's say run. Task will be the same task. And then the connection name. Connection name is going to be well, I will just not pass any connection name. Okay, and then command string will be, let's say, show version, and then I will print result as well. Print result. Okay, so I have to fix my host YAML to make sure that the data there is correct. So like this, 30. Okay, username Cisco platform Cisco AS, NetMeek options is blank. Yeah, I think we are ready to go. And I also may need to enable Paramiko logging separately to be able to run this test successfully. So let's go ahead and do that. So Paramiko as well. We'll have also console. And the last piece in this main, I would like to say that I'd like to say nr inventory hosts, and then I say csrdef, and I would like to say connections. I should be able to see two open connections here. So if this is what I see, then we did it correctly. Okay. So let's go ahead and run my script again. And I will need to go back to my tests and to my sandbox. Several connection tests, and then I say Python main py. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. There is some debugging, blah blah blah. This is my console. Now I see Paramiko connection. First I see the result from the first command, and now I see here actually result from the show version, but it was sent via the SSH. Now the last piece, look at this, this is what I needed. So I have this dictionary where I see that there is NetMeek telnet connection open, and then there is NetMeek connection open. Perfect. So this is what I needed. So this definitely looks good to me. Well, there are a couple of pieces that we have to do. Well, let me see. Okay, so we actually touched just 3 files. So inventory task and... Oh, okay. So since I did this change, I have to change it everywhere. Yeah, I have to change this everywhere. So I have to say something like this: task connection name everywhere here. Potentially, I'm thinking, is there any way I can get rid of this part? And I think there is. Now I actually may see it. So what if I move task get connection up 1 level? I think this is actually a good idea. So yeah, I believe this is a great idea. So we will have here function called def get connection, the same function where you have name. which is not optional. Gets or opens a connection with the specified name. So this will be name, connection name. Yeah, I think this is a good idea. This will be actually plugin name. So this will be plugin name. So connections. Specified plugin name. We'll see. Yeah, something like this. Default connection. And this is going to do the following. This is going to say return task host, no, self host, open connection, I don't remember, task host get connection. Yeah, like this. So default task host get default connection name. Okay, so this will be the same thing, and this will be here. So get connection, and here I say task connection name self connection name or default connection name. Okay, good. With the name passed to task run or the with name specified explicitly during task creation or during task creation or using the default connection name. Okay, good. So then this means that I don't have to touch these plugins at all. We delete this part. Well, actually we still have to touch them, so this is how it will be. So we say task get connection everywhere. Task get connection, task get connection everywhere. Most likely this will break tests. I am pretty confident. So okay, good. Yes, this looks fine to me. Let's go ahead and rerun our script. So I think I will disable logging for now. I don't need logging. I will need to print these connections, and we'll see if this works. So let's go ahead and run this. Okay, I'm able to access via one plugin, and I am able to get show version using, well, the different connection. And here I have two connections, and then they are closed. I think this is perfect. And we got rid of that thing. Actually, now that I am thinking about it, this netmiko part is actually out of place here. I think if I say I would like to get connection netmiko, it doesn't necessarily need to be here. I need to no, this will not work this way. I mean, this is a string constant, and I share it within every single task. I think the proper name for this thing should be somewhere here in this connection plugin. You have like default connection name here. And then you can register a plugin. Yeah, I actually think this would be a good idea. So something like this. So then I also need to change my connections here, because when I register, I don't necessarily need to provide a name. I can put it as optional. I can put it here as optional. So I can just say plugin. Yeah. Or maybe no. When you register, you don't necessarily need to provide a name. You don't necessarily need to provide a name. Because I can get it. Yeah. So this will be this. So name will be optional str, and this will be none. And then we say if name is none, name is equal to plugin dot Okay. Okay, and then when we are going here, class napalm connection. No, it's not over yet. Okay, so then when I say class plugin name, I can default to default connection name, which will do the job for me. Then when we are registering, obviously we need to refer by name. When we do get plugin, we need to refer by name, blah blah blah. Okay, this piece is fine to me. Okay, now we need to go ahead and change here. You have to say default connection name is going to be napalm. And netconf as well, even though this is not committed, but let's have it here. And here as well, default connection name Paramiko, and then default connection name will be Paramiko here. Netmiko Paramiko. Okay, fine. So then you have to change registering default plugins. We don't need to do this anymore. We can just say and specify them by default names. So register napalm Paramiko Netmiko. This is good. Then if we do this, I don't think I need to provide this in every subtask. Get connection. I don't think I need to pass anything here. Like if I need to get connection, let's try an Netmiko send command. So task get connection, let's remove this here. And I'm thinking if there is a way now to figure it out without problem. Actually, I think we will still need it. Yeah, well, yeah, this plan didn't work out so well, did it? Yeah, the only way to get that default name, the only way to get the default name is when we are getting the plugin here. So once I got the plugin, then I can refer to default connection name, and then I can do it. Yeah, without name I will not be able to do it. Because this plugin name is here. Yeah. I'm sorry, this will not work. Flepiech, sorry, I can't pronounce the username. That was poor attempt. Hi, how are you doing, sir? Okay, I can't have it here. This just don't work. Potentially I can refer to, well, I can still try to referring this to this name, and maybe it's actually a good idea. Class napalm default connection name is this. Yeah, I still think this may be a good idea. You would need to, from our plugin, import default connection name, which we are going to pass here. Yeah, I think we could do it. So from Nornir core, no, from Nornir plugins, connections, import napalm, and here we are saying task get connection napalm dot default connection name, something like this, so you don't carry this name around. We'll see. I'm not sure everyone will like it, but seems like a good idea to me. Thank you very much for following. Okay, so yeah, I think this may work. So napalm, and here we specify napalm default connection name and napalm here as well. So napalm default connection name, napalm default connection name. So from this import, well, I don't have the plugin yet, so I can't do it here until I submitted it. Yeah. I can say netconf default connection name. Okay. And here netmic also. There is also Paramico, and I'm not sure where we are using it. I think we're using it here. Interesting. I forgot to commit this. Oops. well, actually no, this is fine. So we need this paramico, default connection name paramico, and then I have to change it here. I have to say paramico, and then okay, write file as well. I don't think this doesn't use paramico, so we don't need this. Nope. Remote command. I think command, yeah, we'll need to use here paramico as well. Paramico default connection name. Actually, we have to take a look on this get connection state function, since so we name this. So if okay, yeah, this is fine. I think we went through most of the tasks that are required. HTTP method, now it doesn't establish connection, so we don't need anything here. Well, I guess this is pretty much it. It's actually, this is a lot of changes here. And let's run my script again. I think it will work. I think my tests will fail though. So while it's running, I will go ahead and try fixing some of the tests that I broke. So then this dummy connection plugin will need default connection name, which is saying, let's say dummy, and then another dummy connection plugin which will say default connection name, another dummy. So then we also need to see. Does this work? Yeah. So I got show version via SSH and I got this via console, so this still worked. But there are a couple of things that we have to change. So I have to change the order now everywhere. Since connection name is an optional parameter, I have to do it everywhere. Okay, this seemed to work fine. I may specify them without parameters here, and it should work. So let's go ahead and run pytest. I have to go to folders up. So pytest. Okay, I don't think this will break. You are not using NC client for netconf connection. I'm using NC client for netconf connection. And of course everything failed here. Okay. How come I managed to fail all of them? Oh, I see here. I see it here. So yeah, and actually all of these test connection plugins registration that I was messing around with, they were working. Okay, so let's go ahead and rerun this routine. Okay, this will take some time. Before submitting PR request, because I think the code for it is pretty much done, there are a couple of things that still have to be done. One of them is update tutorial, which is this, which is like handling connections. So I need to update this tutorial showing that, and here as well. Let's see what tests say. Okay, test says that everything passed perfect. So yeah, so we have to update docs for this still, to make sure that we specify. Damn it, tweets continue flowing that Twitter thread. So sorry guys. Yeah, for those of you who didn't hear the beginning, I retweeted a blog post about Ansible, and if you have watched my previous streams, you know how I dislike Ansible in terms of network configuration. And yeah, I retweeted it and I posted a comment that I'm happy that I'm not the lone nut who is thinking that Ansible is not a good idea for network configuration. And yeah, I woke up, there were like 15 new tweets in the thread. Now during the stream there seems to be 15 more as well. We'll see. I haven't read everything yet there. So yeah, about the current stream, we'll need to update docs to make sure that we show this way. Where is my main PY file? To make sure that we show this con name thing, as well as that we show that this kind of thing. Okay, so we need to do this. Potentially I'm kind of hesitant, but I need to figure out at least some kind of test here for these, let's say, netmiko telnet options or whatever, how we can test this. Probably it will be for get connection. We may have something there for open connection. I think somewhere here we can add a test. No, not here. In test connections we can say not here, not here. So somewhere here when we open and close connection, we can also try adding connection there as well. So you will have, actually, you know what, let's actually try to adding test and then we'll wrap up. Okay, so at least one test. So let's look on this closely. At the beginning of test we register dummy and dummy no overrides here. Plugins, so they are registered. Where is this task though? You'll need to create a new task. So def open and close connection. With different name, something like this, and here I can say the same thing, task open connection, close connection. So this will be dummy another connection using dummy plugin, and we can deregister it here. So, and we need to assert that, actually I'm not sure why this is part of the task. Okay, and this is actually, we will need to say plugin is equal to dummy, and we can change this assert a little bit. We can say that assert is instance of task host connections. Task host connections. This connection should be an instance of dummy connection plugin. So this is what you should do, and then to test an open connection, close connection. Yeah, I guess so. I guess this is how we will need to do it. Test an open close connection is different name, and then we will do this different name. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so let's try. Test an open close connection with different name passed. Perfect. So yeah, we add the test. We still will need to add docs for this piece before we submit PR, but I'm pretty satisfied with the result. Yeah, I think this is, Jesus Christ, the number of tweets keeps growing for that thread. So I guess it's a good point to wrap up. So on this stream we are continuing working on Nornir. We chose an interesting issue that I need for one of my projects, which is this. The idea behind this issue is that you may have the same connection plugin like NetMiko, but NetMiko allows you to open SSH connection, open serial connection, open telnet connection. And using Nornir in the current state, you can only specify one connection in your inventory. You can't specify multiple connections. So the idea here is so that your inventory supports it and your task supports it. So if you want to run some specific task only via telnet, for example, or serial console, you can actually do that. You just specify additional parameter, and then it will create a parallel connection for you if needed. So this was the idea behind this thing. We spent pretty much the whole stream on it, but we got it working. We even had a chance to write test for it, and we see all the tests have passed. The only piece that is still needed before I can submit PR request for this is to add section in the docs describing how to use this. After that, we should be able to open PR and wait for the review. There are a couple of things before we close. Couple of things that, well, may be interesting. I have a couple of ideas that I just wanted to share with you. I'm not sure if this will ever be on the stream or maybe not, but if someone wants to take this idea and do it yourself, be my guest. But yeah, so a couple of ideas. One of the idea is, well, to write asynchronous netconf library, which will be able to which will use async.io. So basically, yeah, kind of like NC client, but asynchronous NC client. So this is one idea. Second idea that I have is to implement as part of the NC client a div for the XML. And the idea there is that whenever you push some new XML using netconf, the first thing, if you kind of like specify some parameter or whatever, the first thing that is going to be done is that it will go to the device, issue netconf get config, get user config, and now you have original config and the new config that you want to push, and then this kind of plugin or function or feature will do basically a div of XML, you preserving namespace and all that stuff, and then it will result with a new XML which will say, oh, I would like to delete this specific object, let's say delete this specific VRF, and then add this 5 new VRFs. This is I already told you before that you can already guarantee the state with netconf, but actually there are scenarios where it's not that easy. When your object that you would like to interact with is in the root, you can't, and it is a list, you can't apply operation and replace on it, so you can't really guarantee the state there. So the only proper way to handle it is to go to the device, fetch what is present there, see what you want to configure, do div on the items that you need to delete, you do delete operation or remove operation, whatever you have, and then you basically do config merge for this new config object that you want. So this would be a very useful thing from my perspective, because you can write this generic function, library, whatever, which will allow you not to care how you need to construct if your container supports operation replace, where you should place it and where you shouldn't, right? You would actually just generate your XML without caring about these operations, and then this kind of feature will generate the property for you. So this is another idea, and the third idea, I think this third idea would be good for a stream at some point. Even though I told you that I don't really like Ansible for network configuration management, I think it's just a bad idea. I still use Ansible quite a lot for server provisioning. So the idea would be to basically write very simple or not so simple playbook which would deploy your servers or your laptops or whatever you have. So in my case, it would be like servers. You know, every so often I get a new server, and there are a list of things that I need to install. That I don't know. I need to install Docker. I need to install Docker Compose. I need to install pyenv to be able to have any kind of version of Python. I need to set up proxies sometimes. On some servers like GNet3 server, I would like to install GNet3. So it would be also, I think, even though we kind of like past Ansible, I think it would be a good stream to show you guys, you know, like how you can use it just for your own purposes. So in my case, you know, I deal with new VMs all the time, right? You know, every so often I get a new resource, whatever. And how do you provision it to the point where you can actually use it the way you want it, right? So besides the things that I was talking about, I also like to use this shell. I like to use all my Z shell with specific theme, and I install it everywhere and blah blah blah. So all of these things you can write once in your playbook, save it, and then use this playbook to provision your servers, provision your, let's say, new laptop, for example, if it runs Mac or Linux, obviously. You know, stuff like that. So those are the ideas that I have in mind for some either future stream, or you can use these ideas if you want to implement them. With that, I don't see any more questions. I think this is a good point to wrap up for today. Thank you very much, guys. Now I will get some food and try to finish my my assignment in time for my online university. We'll see how that goes. I will be continue writing Python code for it. Thank you very much for being with me today, and I wish you great Sunday. Get some rest and have an easy working week. Last reminder: no stream next week, and maybe there will be no stream in 2 weeks. I'm not sure yet. So thank you. Take care. Bye, everyone.